This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here with me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Nothing much going on late like Lauryn Hill.
Not that late. Right? You've never been that late.
Yeah, man. I was on Twitter earlier and I saw she had another round of showing up late and yelling at the fans that, just how dare these people that give her their hard-earned money demand somebody to show up within reason, at a decent time when they were advertised. So yeah. I'm chilling, man. What's up with you, man?
None. I saw some Lauryn Hill stuff, but I did see your little cute tweet about like an all-time overrated artist or the most overrated artist of all time. It's like, all right, bro. Well, here we go. But yeah, the Lauryn Hill thing's just weird. The thing that turned people this time on her was like the stuff she said about, people didn't come to her for an album or whatever. It was like, nah, that is not true at all. That is a bold-faced lie you say in front of all these people that waited for you. Like, people wanted another album from her. The label wanted another album from her. Like, people were like offering her shit for free. As far as her service to make the album, to get the album produced, like, that is an absolute lie. That is a lie on multiple accounts from multiple people that lies being told on. So I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like, whatever, as far as her being late over, that's her prerogative. Like, I figured if that happened enough times over all these years, people would eventually say, fuck this, I'm tired of, planning it out that, like, I'm going to wait 90 minutes and still have to wait an hour. So, yeah, that's their own fault. I'll never go to a Lauryn Hill concert. I love that album with all my heart. I would never go to a Lauryn Hill album or a Lauryn Hill concert. That's just never gonna happen.
Ever. Yeah, You'll never catch me there. Like, something will have gone tragically wrong if you see Rich Latta at a Lauryn Hill concert. Sorry. Like, but yeah, man. Like, a lot of stuff going on. We're gonna get to AEW after, because I'm sure after this week, a lot of people want to know kind of what we thought of this very bad week, perception wise, and everything else. But we had like this kind of multifaceted, women's wrestling chess game kind of break out over the weekend, and I guess we can start with Kairi returning to WWE at Crown Jewel. So no real reaction or anything, but she's linked up with EO, it looks like, and I guess everybody can stop pretending now like they didn't know what was happening. So Kairi shows up. I don't know what they're gonna have her do or anything, but yeah, have fun. Any thoughts on Kairi returning?
I mean, we kind of talked about it when we all thought she and figured she was coming back. Maybe like a month ago, we thought this, or maybe even further than that, we thought she was coming back. Like, yeah, she showed back up into Stardom. She basically was a part-timer. They didn't use her to put over anybody. She never took a single pinfall. She would have taken one if not for the Mayu contract situation that was going on around the time of historic crossover. But she ended up losing that IWGP Women's title to Mercedes in I think it was San Jose, or America at least. So like that was the only job she really did on the whole basically year run that she was she had came back to like Joshi. And yeah, that's par for the course. Like that's what all the main eventers from the scene always do, is they protect themselves. Like, you know, there was a thing going around of this weekend, like Dash Shikako, I forgot how to pronounce her last name, but Dash had a match with Aja Kong. Aja Kong did an apron bump off through a table. Aja Kong didn't lose that match. Like that's the scene. Everybody protects themselves. Everybody still treats it like it's men's wrestling from, 15, 20 years ago. Now
or AEW. Go ahead, James.
Now anyway. So yeah, like Kairi, she protected herself and she's going back to WWE, and hopefully, with Triple H there, she'll get a better push than she did when she was treated as a complete pin eater for Asuka and the Kabuki Warriors. So there's that.
Yeah. So have fun, Kairi. Then that kind of led to this thing where Sareee, with 3 E's.
Yep.
She a couple weeks ago, or maybe like last week, it was reported by Mike Johnson, PW Insider, that Sareee was negotiating with a company in America that was not WWE. Us being tapped into a couple of people that kind of watch these things and all that has speculated to us like privately, kind of like, hey, this is definitely a possibility. Like, is Skabon, because the patterns that have started to emerge, like with Mike Johnson, and if he's reporting on something with Joshi, usually has to do with Skabon, and I'm here to tell people. With Sareee, she basically, a lot of people thought she was going to go back to WWE. She was like, no. She signed a multi-year deal with them, and I saw a lot of people making, admittedly, some funny jokes, but terribly inaccurate jokes.
What were some of the jokes you saw?
There was like, she would rather, go wrestle for Chuck E. Cheese tokens than deal with Shawn Michaels again. A bunch of Triple H stuff. Like, there was people just flat out calling Triple H a bum. There was a bunch of like different stuff like that. But I'm here to tell people, like, this is not I know it looks crazy, right? And would DJ Envy and Cesar feel like, they could get involved with Skabon and pull the wool or someone like? Yes, the optics do not look great. Like, I've seen people refer to this as a money laundering scheme. Made jokes about them airing on TikTok, and
which they literally did.
Yeah,
that actually happened. That ain't no joke.
Yeah. Like,
that was the first time I ever realized that like TikTok actually did you could stream on TikTok. I had no fucking idea.
Right. But I'm here to tell you, there's actual money here. Like, there's actually something, like, they're going to run this. I don't know how long it's going to last. Like, I'll keep it a stack with you there.
Right.
When they say multi-year contract.
It might be. It might in fact be multi-year. But look, when you say multi-year, it's like, how many days is it going to be? Is it going to be
Correct.
50? Fuck no. Is it going to be 24? Fuck no. Correct.
So like,
this multi-year shit might be like 12 dates, 10 dates.
I recall hearing stories about Sareee apologizing to people at her produce shows that may have discovered her through her time when she was in NXT. So like, it doesn't shock me that she didn't like go running back there or anything. But this whole thing with Skabon, and she's competing under her own name. She's not getting any goofy gimmick or anything, which is like hilarious. She pulled the Briscoe bitch on me. And then I think this is like this reminds me of like how like they say men's wrestling used to be in Japan in like the late 80s, early 90s, like fucking Tenryu would go form his own promotion somewhere or something like that. Like she's pretty much going to be like one of the top people. If not, like, you know, the way she's like kind of like people were speculating she may have points on the package here. Who knows or whatever. But when you saw this thing, besides like flat out laughing like I did, what was your reaction to this?
I mean, that was my reaction. I laughed. I was like, because first I thought like she ain't going to AEW, right? So because, you know, they tend to get their like entire like all the references come basically through like the Emi Sakura ism like part of the Joshi realm. So like once I saw the Sukeban thing, I laughed because I was like, oh, she ain't that definitely ain't WWE.
Far from it.
Yeah. But, you know, then I thought to myself like, well, you know, this makes sense. Like it seems that like Seedling, like that group of people like Nasuki Tayo and Arisa Nakajima kind of are like the go-to people for the wrestling and the wrestlers. So it makes sense seeing that, like, you know, you have Arisa and Sareee in the middle of this thing all year. Ever since Sareee came back, she's currently the Beyond the Sea champion. It makes sense that, like, if Seedling's going to do another show, they're going to bring her in because she's their champion. Gets eyes on them, gets more people in. They do not mind having international people buy their pay-per-views from overseas. So, thinking from that perspective, I was like, okay, I get it. I get the connection. I get why this happened. The multi-year thing, same thing we just talked about. Like, I think it's cute that it's because you can announce it as such, but it's only certain number of dates. It's only a few dates. And few, you know what few means? Few means like more than 2, less than 10.
I wonder if they had Court Bauer help them with that roll out, you know, that press release. But
you know, like what comes with Sareee is like same thing that comes with like Arisa Nakajima. If you're going to put them in the main event, or you're going to put them in the top spot for a title, like you're going to get some hard hitting wrestling more likely than not. Because like I don't really, well, especially Nakajima's more adept or whatever else historically, but like I don't think I've ever seen a Sareee match that wasn't like extremely hyper violent, or anyone that was really good anyway. So yeah, like. There are look at the people that are there. There are main event level talent in the Joshi scene, all in through Sukeban. So it makes sense that like if they want to do that for like, you know, they do all the kind of other stuff, and then the main event thing is like they have the killer match. They could do it like that. You know, because they have Ano, they have Mayuki, they have Nakajima, they have now Sareee. So like they could do that. So we'll see, but you know, this next show has to be better than the first one. That's for sure.
I think it needs to be better than the first one, and then they need to have this thing like advertised to where like people can pay for this, like because they're just streaming it for free and all that, and then uploading it on YouTube. It's like, how are they making money? Like that's like what I'm kind of looking at it. And maybe I know some people are probably like, why are you worried about how they're making money? I'm like, well, if I can figure out how they're making money, I can like chart a map for them to like be successful.
Doesn't like go away. Yeah.
Right. And, and it seems like this is a very expensive project, and it'll look like it. Like,
yeah.
And I think for Sareee to like link up with this thing, it's an instant credibility boost, and it's like it's a signature person. So you know, we know all these people are operating under like secondary kind of gimmicks there, and it was almost like all those people can come and go if they want, right? But if Saree's putting her name on this, it's like, all right, you know, she already was running produce shows herself.
Right.
Like, maybe this is like what, you know, it needs to be like, yeah, man, this is like something serious, and then turn it, who knows, like they form their own dojo or some shit.
I'm not too. I'm not going that far into like, you know, the future plans of whatever it is, but I think the thing for me is, like, I like these shows being here. I like the part where like you have Spark Joshi. I like the part where you have, oh my god, you have these other few ones that are running around because like it helps subsidize.
DPW.
Like, sorry.
DPW.
Yeah, Deadlock. Yeah. What's your one, you boy from Joshi Pod runs? I forgot that quick.
Not sure.
I forgot, but basically, like, I like the part where like the wrestlers come over here and they can help subsidize their income that they've missed from the pandemic kicking their ass, and also the yen being down so bad. So yeah, I'm into this. People are, you know, people come here and they bring their merch bags and they leave with their merch gone by even one show. Like Maya Yuki, like she sold me a fucking 3X because that's all she had left.
Prepped.
I wear a 1X now. I just bought the 3X off the strength. I'll never wear that fucking thing. I may as well turn it into like
a flag.
No, not a flag. Fuck you. No, I may as well, like, you know, frame the thing and just like frame like just the graphic on it and like put it in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, but get you the background, you know, on there.
This man said a blanket, like I'm wearing, like how, you know, how girls be like where it is like the sleep shit you sleep in, like one of them. Yes. Nah, man, I ain't doing that.
Say the big T-shirt for
the big T-shirt for a still big nigga, even though he's lost 100 pounds. That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, you say the big T-shirt for the ladies. That's what you do.
I'm 6'4", 245 pounds. The shirt I wear off the shirt I pull off is big. Unless I'm in here with a heavyweight.
Hey, I mean, that's your prerogative, sir.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a big girl. Ain't nothing wrong with a big girl. I'm just pointing out more times than not. Like the shirt that I'm wearing right now is big enough. A shirt that's big on me is gonna be big as hell.
I believe a man on this show once said, "I want big, strong, muscular women." Like, so.
You know what I love about that clip? That clip was talking about a match where two were beating the other ass, and the only part that Dan heard was the part where it said James likes big, strong, muscular women. I didn't say I didn't, but but like, how did this become like this is a James Boyd fetish? Like that's not when people say you're a Joshi freak or whatever. That's not what they think of this person like big, strong, muscular woman. They don't think you're akin to a pedophile. He took it a whole nother route. I don't know if I should be offended or should give him credit for that. Well, I don't know.
Amazing, but yeah, man. Shout out to him, all sizes. You know,
hold on, let the free flag fly. All I said was I'm with body diversity. I don't have a preference. That's all I said. Yeah. Is that freaky?
Hey,
I don't know.
It's on you.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on. Giulia has garnered some attention in response to WWE. Everybody was pointing and laughing at WWE. No more than, I'd say, like 45 minutes later, this news drops of WWE interested in signing New Japan champion Giulia. Like, that's how it all kind of rolled out to the websites. And this obviously set Twitter ablaze or whatever. And I saw this and I was like, well, you know, Giulia is very popular and we've talked about how Giulia gets talked about on this show.
Yeah. People, like, it's the same thing that Meltzer was doing with Tony Storm for all the years. About how marketable she is. No, you think she's a smoke show. And, like, the wrestling is secondary, and it's like, look, man, just be real with it instead of trying to talk in your code. You think she's very attractive in a way to where like, she could be a star. And that's fine, but like the people that say this stuff aren't also being like, yeah, she also had like the best women's match last year in the world.
They ain't talking about none of that.
No,
like,
they don't. Look, if she wrestled like Brie Bella, they wouldn't give a fuck.
So, immediately, you know, I saw the put Giulia with this faction, that faction.
They did the nation domination trope set with Asian women. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
all that.
They're not Japanese women, Asian women. They throwing Xia Li into this. So I was like, hold on. When does it ever be? Do you understand the Japan and the rest of Asia ain't exactly like some smooth thing?
Nah,
like, they were trying to conquer all of them, close lands.
It's all together. So like, the way this one kind of went, it was like, it read to me, it was like, yeah, WWE would be interested in this wrestler eventually, and that's kind of what I took it as. And I was like, man, it's about to get nasty because, people were speculating about Giulia's deal being up next March, and makes her year look pretty weird. Like, obviously, they took the red belt off her back in March.
Mm-hmm.
They've had her walking around with that New Japan Strong belt. There was supposed to be this Mercedes Moné match, which may or may never happen now.
Right.
I don't know. It's a wild thing. I don't think like we were talking earlier, I don't think WWE necessarily cares about the stylistic fit. She's got a lot of buzz.
They just want to hoard her. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of buzz, and
then they get anything extra after that. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like that would be. Look, I think if she left, there are like 4 or 5 people at least to like elevate into where she is now. So it wouldn't be this thing where it's like, oh fuck. Oh
my god, what are we gonna do? We have to replace like our 5th biggest star in the promotion. Like that's not that's the people don't understand. People don't understand that's the reality. Like people just see and like, oh yeah, she's a smoke show. She's also like been the champion, so she has to be therefore she has to be the top star. It's like, nah, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
I think a lot of the stuff with Giulia this year has been funny because like I was baffled they took the belt off of her after all that like that went into getting her to the belt.
Yep.
And from there it was like, all right, now what do you do with her? So I could easily see her being like, you know what, I'm chunk the deuce and we'll go ahead and had these 5-minute matches on whatever TV show and get a big bag, but she's not in the poorhouse. I think we should put that into the atmosphere. It's not a situation where she's broke in Stardom or anything like that.
I love when people said, like, when first doing that about Kairi and Io, was like, you understand they took pay cuts to come to NXT?
That's funny.
Yeah, so whatever. Like,
but, yeah. What do you make of this? Like, this whole thing, like, because I feel like the raid is coming any day now.
So, one, whatever they do is always going to be a quota, right? I found the tweet I was going to say. So, like, we were talking about the Mayu Io thing, and, like, I remember this tweet from earlier this year where Mayu told Tokyo Sports, like, that she had once went into Io's house and saw 3 million yen, which is the equivalent of, like, almost $21,000 in cash is sitting there. And she said that motivated her to work hard in the pro wrestling industry. Yeah, so, big racks. Anyway, I don't think anybody in NXT, look, that shit, that's half their salary.
Yeah.
That's half
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, like, if you ask me, like, what I think of the whole situation, just like, I mean, if she leaves, that's on her. For my benefit of wanting to see her be the biggest star she could be in America, if that's what she so chooses, even though she don't speak a lick of English, I would say, hey, you might want to not do that there, because once you get there, you're new. You have to relearn everything. You don't speak English as good as people that are already there, that already are in front of you, that are also Japanese women there. And also, like, you're going to have to find a whole new way to try to get over there. And, like, you're not going to have nearly the amount of rope that that you would have in anywhere else to do it. Like, American pro wrestling is a lot different from Japanese pro wrestling. Like, her storytelling is great. Her long form storytelling is great. The problem is people don't have that kind of patience or attention span for people that don't speak English in this country when it comes to pro wrestling. They'll quickly cut bait on her and be like, move on to something new. And then what they're going to say, well, you need a new character. And then you're going to come with a new gimmick. And then she's going to be out here underwater. And then the other part is like the incompatibility of her style in the ring compared to like Stardom. Like, the same reason why I thought, Sareee wasn't going to work is like, she works too stiff. It's the same thing.
So you ain't ready to hear Michael Cole running down the ice lore?
That's another one, right? Like, the Ice Lord, that would require somebody else from Ice Ribbon to be there.
I mean,
who you got? I mean, obviously, you got Io there because Mio was a trainer and also like a ref there. You also got like I think Asuka did a little bit of Ice Ribbon. I'm not exactly sure, but outside of that, what you got? And they never interacted when all this shit happened anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Giulia, they were all gone by the time Giulia even started pro wrestling.
Though I look forward to Giulia having her name changed to just Giulia, like with a J, to make it easier.
It shouldn't be that hard. Like, Giulia is spelled just like Giuliani. It's WWE, and they're it should just fit right. It should make all the sense in the world to them.
Yeah, I don't think it would be. I think her in NXT would suck. Like, I don't.
Oh yeah, but they would have to send her there.
They would have to send her. Yeah, it would be like, man.
Given how they operate, they will feel that they would have to send her there. Let me phrase that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, she knows what fucking hard cam is, because like in pro wrestling, everybody has like a center stage or like what part to work towards, and everybody happens to do it. It's just people pretend that like they don't know how to do that.
I think her and Rhea Ripley, if they just beat the fuck out of each other, like how Rhea Ripley and Charlotte did, they could do that. She could do that match, but I don't think they're going to let her do that every day.
They're not going to do that. That's the thing about these matches. Like, they will save those kind of matches for like WrestleMania. I can't even say SummerSlam. They've never had no match like that at SummerSlam with the women. So, like, they have to save it for something super special in their mind. And it's like, do you expect Giulia to actually climb to that level to get there?
Yeah.
I do not.
They barely know what to do with Japanese men. So, like, my bar for Japanese women.
Who's the best push Japanese act in WWE history?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, then. So you can't say barely. So it's one of those two. Think how many times they fucked them up.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a Nakamura versus Akira Tozawa match happening right now, and talk about dropping a ball on a guy. They're chanting CM Punk right now. Wow. So, what they're doing with EO is not really impressive to me. Just kind of holding the belt like a heel goon. So, I think it would be a complete wild card for Giulia, and it would just be weird to see that. I just think because of prior history, I don't think it will work. But she is talented. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world. She's built herself up to that. So like if it did work, it'd be like, oh my god, one of the best wrestlers in the world like managed to work out at like the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. That shouldn't be like an epic win or like an underdog story. Is like, this is what should happen. Mm-hmm.
That's how it's supposed to work. The biggest wrestling company in the world is one of the best wrestlers in the world. That should work pretty fucking well. Like, Rich, you don't watch football much anymore, but like, if I were to put like Tyreek Hill back on the fucking Chiefs, don't you think that would work?
I've heard about some other stuff, like Josh McDaniels, like he was, saying, yeah, like, he said, you get that man some great talent, he don't know how to handle it, but if you give him some sorry people, he can bring them up.
That's a lot of coaches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just hope everyone does know though that Sareee signing with Skabon and WWE having interest in Giulia it can only mean one thing. It is an indictment on Tony Khan and AEW. This is y'all just, even though there was no bag in your hand, you fumbled it. Even though there was you were not connected to this at all. It's on you, Tony Khan.
People were saying this?
Of course. People names too, and I was kind of shocked, and I didn't want to get into a whole Twitter war today, so I refrained from the dunks. But man, I was shocked. I was like, damn, catching strays for this too now. Like if you're gonna time in for this one, there's no other situation you can't time into at this point. So
gotcha.
As the wheel turns, Megan Bayne. So, so this is a evolving situation right now that is currently unfolding on Twitter between SRS, shout out to him, the Stardom Twitter account, which is run by
Sonny.
And not that Sonny that kills people with cars.
Wait, what?
Oh, you didn't know? Sonny? WWF Sonny out here? Vehicular
I forgot about that part. But no, I was like, wait, what? And then you're like, oh, you didn't know? I was like, oh, he about to hit me with that Jesse James. Your ass better call somebody. I was like, nah, you're not gonna get me. I'm gonna be quiet. I'll sit here for the rest of it. I'll wait till the time when the show ends. This show has no time, has no shot clock or no time. I'm just gonna stay here for another hour and then be like, "Yep, that's in the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later." But
oh shit,
yeah,
all right,
Sonny, who basically edits and translates the shows for Stardom and runs Stardom's English account. Yeah.
So the original report from Fightful Select, and this report in itself was kind of messed up. It was saying Megan Bayne is all elite and has been for quite some time. Top indie prospect Megan Bayne isn't actually an indie prospect. Fightful Select has learned Bayne has been under AEW contract for months, although she hasn't been on television in the company in months. Bayne was instead sent by AEW to work in Tokyo Joshi Pro months ago and has been refining her work there. As of this summer, we're told that there have been no significant creative plans for her within AEW. The 25-year-old has also made appearances in Impact in the past. They immediately came out and said that was incorrect. They actually meant Stardom. Something got lost in how it was written up. I'll take the word for it. Then there's like the Megan being signed to AEW, which is confirmed. And she's been working in Stardom since August, I believe. I think this is what people always clamor for to happen. If this was kind of done, because there was an injury in there too. There was like the Megan Bayne timeline is weird because she was already in AEW like a year ago, maybe more. Was getting the superstar kind of entrance. She was getting her own entrance and all that shit when she was on Dark and winning matches. She was doing indie dates. I believe she got hurt. I don't know if they had her on papers already. So I don't know the exact timeline, but when she was healed, she did show back up in Stardom earlier this year, which we covered, with her feud with Tam and subsequent challenge for the title, and it's going all in since then. From here, there was some refuting of it from Sonny. Said no wrestler has ever been sent to AEW to come to Stardom, not once. Said it was basically his job to know such things. And he's the person that negotiated with Megan every step of the way. This is all public things that he's saying, so I'm not betraying anything. And he's been involved with bringing a large majority of Stardom's foreign talent for 8 years now. I believe they were talking with Omega Goon. Shout out to Omega Goon, longtime listener. So this whole thing was like, it's still happening. Like they're still going back and forth. And it's like a lot of this word was used incorrectly to describe it. A lot of people, of course, being like, trying to, I think, just jump on each other about terms and stuff like that. But what we do know is that she has been signed for AEW for a long time. She worked in Stardom over the summer. There may or may not be some type of connection that made that happen. It could be Megan on her own booking this, but I doubt AEW, if you're under contract, lets you just go places without having control over your finishes or some set plan to, because we've seen when Riho was over in Stardom, we've seen when any wrestler that works in AEW works in another promotion, like how it works is sometimes they have like representatives. For example, like Defy Wrestling, say if John Moxley was on the card and like some other wrestlers from AEW, all the other wrestlers from AEW, their representative would be John Moxley to make sure everything is fine. Like there's liaisons everywhere. So like it's more organized than people think. People just don't know a lot about it. I find it hard to believe that Megan Bayne booked this herself. And then if she was under contract with AEW, because like those things just would not mix. Like it leads me to think that there was something in place like, hey, we're not going to use you right now. However, you come back from this knee injury, go over there and, you actually probably have the ability to go over there, because I think that's something else that gets like kind of, tripped up in this thing. Immediately I saw people saying, send Anna Jay over there. I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be beneficial for Anna Jay. She might not be built for that. So like, like Megan Bayne, like, I pretty much said that she was like a high level prospect over there, like when she first showed up there. And I was like, just let her do her thing. And, she ended up fine over there. Everyone's not built like that. And maybe Megan had circumstances where she could go for 6 months. There are people that, have families, they have different commitments. And I don't know if it's going to work like that for everyone, but, I can't call her excursion, her silent excursion, anything but a roaring success, especially if they planned it out and kept it secret for this long.
Yeah, I don't know, how this came about, how it came out, or whatever else, but it's like, my whole thing to it is like, so? Like, she showed up, she got over, like, she got, like, in a title match that she got the month before she came in, like, she got, like, an audible gasp when she hit her finish. In a good ass match. And then, like, that's the only job she's done. Like, I don't know what the point of contention is other than semantics. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, on screen, it was working out well on both ends from her, or three ends from if it's AEW sent over there or whatever. AEW is getting somebody that's getting some XP. And also while we're covering from this injury, whatever. And actually having some, wrestling well and is over in the position that they're in over, on excursion, if you will. From some perspective, like she's an over monster. She's an over monster. And like she has good matches. And she's being paired with Micah right now. And they're beating the fuck out of people. So yeah, like I don't care. Like the back and forth, the Sean Ross Sapp and Sonny are having on Twitter, like I haven't seen it at all until you just mentioned it. I don't care.
Yeah, it's
like whatever. When's it? Like she's gonna continue through tag league. Okay, cool. And if she leaves eventually, okay, cool. And if she ends up on AEW, if so, okay, cool, fine.
Bro,
like all the stuff going on. All the stuff
why
that's going on.
People act up like this.
Hold on. All the stuff that's going on with Stardom this year. All the stuff that's going on with AEW this year. All the stuff that's going on with New Japan this year. You think on my list of all the things on these promotions I love and like would watch on a regular basis and follow and cover, that like Megan Bayne's contract situation is what's on the top of my list? No, it's not even the top 50 right now. Like Tam and Susan's happening. We ain't seen Tam not a bit since she may or may not have blown out her knee at the end of that match, her last title defense.
Yeah, she's not gonna be in this next one. They announced she's out.
Okay, there you go. I didn't even know that. So there you go. Have they stripped her?
They're saying what's gonna happen with the title. I'm like, nigga, you tell us. Like,
right? Okay, there you
the
go.
Fuck? Like, so it's gonna be. I believe it's Suzu, Starlight Kid, and Azumi are gonna be fighting in 3-way.
For what?
I'm like,
for what?
I don't know. Like, I'm like, yo, man, break the glass now. The future is now. Put a red belt on the line. Let's go. But yeah, the whole thing about being like, she was obviously had to be sent to Stardom. Like, I can't think of any scenario based on what I know about people in AEW working at other places. You don't show up there you don't book yourself somewhere like without going through the office. Like it was just be impossible.
Yeah. Has Meltzer talked about this, or we gotta wait to the Observer and they figure out?
I think that will probably happen tonight. He's posted stuff on the board, I think, but
okay.
We're more likely to hear something on Wrestle Observer Radio later tonight.
I guess that means I'll have to listen to Wrestle Observer Radio for the first time in months.
Bro, I'm so behind.
So am I.
Bro, I listen to Social Suplex, and all that, but yeah, man, it's wild, man. Like, so Wrestle Kingdom 18, they just came out with like a list of some of the top matches today. Did you happen to see this list, James?
Yeah, I saw the list. I also saw people defending the list, and I'm like, there's no need to defend the list. Like, if it draws, it draws, and I've heard it's drawn a lot better than it did last year. And I also like to point out, like, that's great. We're also like coming straight off of like restrictions for people to come moving in, coming in. So like whatever.
Amazing.
And
amazing
it's also
how that
like,
works.
wow. So you mean to tell me that Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata is more over than Jay White in the main event of a Tokyo Dome? Shocker.
Who knew that?
What a fucking shocker. Who could have foreseen that that Sonata was more over than Jay fucking White? We knew this in Japan. The fuck? What? But what about the card? Does it jump off the page? Oh, you want to pretend it does? Okay, fine. Whatever, John.
A lot of cap.
I love John from Masake, but like, bro, it's part 45 of Desperado versus Hiromu. We've seen all of them. It's always a good ass match, but they're not going to top that G1 final or like the Best Super Junior finals. Never happening. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Even though Hiromu's had an incredible bounce back year, whatever. Like having the 3-way for the US/UK title.
That shit is a tragedy.
No one wants David Finlay there. That stinks.
Tragic.
And then you got Danielson.
Before we do that,
go ahead.
This is not only a tragedy from the standpoint of no one wants to see a 3-way. No one wants to see David Finlay. This is possibly Will Ospreay's last Wrestle Kingdom as a full-timer or whatever. This could be, say this is his last Wrestle Kingdom ever. Who knows? And it would be this that he's going out on, right? Mm-hmm. It's a waste of Jon Moxley. This is also like a waste of like Ospreay's half year, anything that doesn't have to do with like Kenny Omega, because I'm like, where the fuck did Ospreay Omega 3 go? Like, was that like a figment of my imagination? Maybe, I guess so. Yeah, and then it's like they're introducing a new title too, and everyone's like, oh yeah, they're bringing back the Intercontinental title belt. I'm like, bro, they're gonna debut a new fucking belt. They're not gonna go back to that other design that we all like. They're not doing that. So it's like, they're getting rid of the red belt. That fucking stinks. I think Kenny and Will bust their ass making that belt mean something. So they're just getting rid of it. So that seems like a waste. You mentioned Okada and Danielson.
Yeah, Okada Danielson, like that's a match for us. Just much like the Omega and Ospreay match was for us last year, or the Jericho and Omega match was for us in 2018. That is the international match.
I'm like, yeah, man. I hope Bryan Danielson comes back in one piece. This man prone to get hurt.
I will say this on commentary on Dynamite. Excalibur said that they expect him back at the end of the year, as if he'll be back before January 4th.
I could probably picture that.
No, I'm just saying, like, in case we wonder, like, how long is he going to be out with the orbital bone thing? It's like, maybe not like to where, like, he gets cleared on January 1st, hops his ass on the plane, then goes, and then he's there, a day later.
I think also, I didn't talk about the finish for the 3-way. Like, presumably Will Ospreay's on his way out the door. I don't know what happens there.
Right.
But David Finlay kind of has to win this, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going on Moxley. I mean, it could.
Look.
Let me phrase this.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
John Moxley's not taking a pin here.
No, absolutely not.
So he's that leaves only one real option. Like, Ospreay's not staying. So is Finlay just going to pin? See why? It's like, why is Moxley even here then? It's like, what the fuck? Like, Gato, what are you doing? What are you doing, Gato? Answer me. God damn it. Okada and Danielson. Gotta say, man, excited to see it. Not thrilled, not over the moon to see it. I always figured it would kind of head here. And even before the injury, where Danielson breaks his arm like that, I don't think we got, like, it wasn't like that, but maybe it'll be like that this time. So,
yeah, I think it'll be a better match. I think, like, he will work more of a style more conducive to, like, what happened with him and Sabre. Obviously, I think it'll work better as far as Okada and their chemistry. It seemed like if you watch their tag match that they had a couple weeks ago, like, their chemistry was so much better than it was even in that match that they had at Wrestle Dream. So for me, they got me to be reinvested in the match on January 4th.
Junior match: Francisco Akira, TJP, Clark Connors, Drill Maloney. It's a junior one that should be pretty good. But yeah. IWGP World Heavyweight Title, Sonata versus Tetsuya Naito. And I just gotta say, I'm never gonna, like, love this as much as, like, people think we should or whatever. I feel like I know what both of these guys are capable of. They're a lot older now than when I first started watching them both.
Yeah. I'll also another thing about it is, like, John is a huge Naito fan. And I think he is misguidedly defending the Naito thing when it's like, Naito being in the main event of Tokyo Dome ain't the problem. It's Sonata. This is a Sonata issue. Like, if you put look, given what they've done in the G1 the last 2 years, would anybody have a problem if it was Ospreay versus Naito? No, absolutely not. If they want to do it's been too many times they've done it lately, but, like, if they want to do Okada and Naito again in the Dome for the 4th or 5th time they've done it, no one would have batted an eye at it because, like, those two top stars, whatever. This the Sonata part that is that people aren't, like, attracted to. People still recognize that when Naito wants to, he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's not the issue. So, like, yeah, it's just like the Sonata thing. It is what it is. It's a guy that needs to have the best match of his career, and if you don't have the legacy game, then, like, he needs to never be anywhere by the main event again. Not another New Japan Cup, not another G1 final, none of that.
I think Josh on Keepin It Strong Style said this best. He kind of made a comment in passing about Sonata being Ronnie Garvin and Tetsuya Naito being Ric Flair, and that's exactly what this is. I saw this and I stopped everything I was doing, and I was like, yes, like, that's that's what this is. This is Ronnie Garvin and his boring ass giving the belt to the real. Hurry up and get the Starcade and give the belt back to Ric Flair. Like, that's what we're dealing with here.
That's a good one. That really is.
And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, yeah, y'all can pretend if you want. That's fine. I guess I'll take my ass to sleep after Okada Danielson. Look, either I'm gonna fall asleep or he gonna put me to sleep. I make my life choices. Fuck that. But
you plan on watching it live?
I mean, I watched half of last year's show live, but admittedly there ain't no Ospreay versus Omega on this thing. Yeah. But there is Danielson Okada. I might wake up early and check that out. But I gotta agree with my man Ibu. It ain't jumping off the page, it's not. All us Westerners, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying we can lay these cards down year by year.
They sold better. They are ahead on tickets compared to last year. I think that's more to do with the most popular domestic stars in the main event. They can win this title. They can finally do their fucking roll call. That's definitely a factor of it. And also, we are a year removed from the restrictions when people were still wanting to making a decision on whether or not they want to go place or not in Japan or not. We are a year past that, so they should do better. And then they also put one of their two biggest stars in the main event to win the belt.
He not we don't have to pretend like he's wrestling Shingo Takagi for the title in 2 months. We don't have to pretend
we don't have to keep pretending that Jay White last year is Kenny Omega. We still doing this?
Like we ain't got to pretend like
jumping off the page. Like, look, man, last year's card did jump off the page. The main event did not.
Yeah. Yeah, the main we called
this year the entire card don't jump off the page. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Like comparing and contrasting to say but where the other was like, no. Last year's main event ain't off the page neither. We've seen that a million times too.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's almost like the more things change, the more they kind of stay the same. Because it's like I've seen them be early on guys, and I've seen them put guys in spots where it's like, damn, this is what they really doing at the Dome. And they're putting Tanahashi with Okan when Okan first came back, and it was like, we got to watch Okan with Tanahashi. But then it turned out decent. But they put Jay White in there with Tanahashi, right? I'm like, all right, where the fuck is Yota Tsuji? Like that's who we want to see. What is if it was Yota Tsuji versus Tetsuya Naito in the Dome, right? I don't think we would be like, ooh, we would be like, yeah, I'm trying to see it. But
I mean,
we don't have to lie about Sonata. I don't know why.
Yeah, I would like to see that, but you know what I wouldn't want to see? I wouldn't want to see Shota versus Naito after what they did earlier this year.
Yeah,
because that wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, Tetsuya Naito, he prone to try on his terms only. So
yeah.
But yeah.
You think I'm about to go out here and help new Tanahashi? No.
Right.
I was new Tanahashi, and look what I had to do. I had to go the long way. No.
Where the fuck is Shota Umino? Yep. Where the fuck is Yuya Uemura? Where the fuck is Yota Tsuji? And it's like they may be added later.
Say again.
They may be added later, right?
Yeah, stuff gonna be added later.
Definitely. Shingo's a champion right now. Right. Saber's a champion, so they're gonna need opponents and all that shit, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm not worried about. But yeah.
But it's like this is kind of the first thing we're getting attention with. Usually there's block something.
Of matches, yeah. The first wave of matches.
You would think something for some of those people. I guess do we really want to count David Finlay as the person? I'm sorry. There was a great comment I think from
the worst Bullet Club leader.
Right. It was a great comment from he was like, does Gato think all white men are the same? Like it was like, yeah, man, Kenny Omega, Jay White, David Finlay, all the same thing. Like,
Rich, we've known the answer to this has been for over 5 years. They said it went from what was it, Finn Balor to AJ Styles to Kenny Omega, and then after Kenny Omega, they said we gonna throw in fresh face, baby face, Miles Teller looking in the face ass Jay White, and then we went from there to David Finlay.
Yeah, man. It's
Gato is out here acting like this is Theodore Long's 5-minute white boy challenge. Any white boy out the crowd come out here and be the leader of Bullet Club. Any white boy.
Yeah. So I'm stunned by the use of Ospreay here, and stunned, kind of saddened, and then like if this is it for him there, and Lord forbid Will Ospreay decides to end his career and sign with WWE or something, and then it's like this is how we wrapped it up. This past 6 months, like where like he was just not used as the biggest and best star he could be, like as the world champion. Nothing. Okay.
At the end, it doesn't end with a bang, but with a whimper.
Sick. Yeah. So,
but I will say this: like, the idea is funny. Like, they send out they send out AJ Styles, like in the semi-main event against Shinsuke Nakamura. Right in the dome. They send out Kenny Omega in the main event of the dome against Tanahashi. And then they send out Jay White in the main event against Okada in the dome. And what does Will Ospreay do? What do they give Will Ospreay? Yeah, bro, like you're gonna be like fifth from the top. We're gonna put you fifth from the top, and you gotta go out here and eat the pin for David Finlay.
Get the fuck out of here.
In a 3-way match. Nasty work, nasty business.
This is sick. Oh my God, Gato. Bro, did Will do something? Like what did Will do? He don't deserve this. Sick. Disgusting. Nasty. Wow. Be British. Damn. Yeah, man. Every time I look at this, I keep looking at this match graphic, and I'm like, I just see that 3-way, and I'm like, you can't be serious. You can't be serious. Like
I think it'll be a good match because obviously they'll make it work. But like honestly, like for me, it's like Jon Moxley works better as a singles wrestler than in a 3-way match.
Like, hey man, how about they just make David Finlay kneel in the middle of the ring, get hit and bladed, and lay outside the ring for 25 minutes, and then come back in when it's time for the end? How about we try that?
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Just lay there, hang out,
man.
Enjoy the view of the dome.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Interested to see what Shingo does. Why? What do you envision for Shingo?
Shingo's defending the championship. There's kind of a hope.
I'm sorry, Rich. I think this has to be of note, needs to be noted, or whatever else. I just saw Victor Wembanyama get his shit blocked at the rim.
I saw something about that. I didn't see it though.
I think I think it needs to be documented and recorded in history for like the next, for the 15 times it ever happens. In his whole career. But anyway, go ahead.
Seeing Dr. Laird say Shingo versus Yota Tsuji, I would love it.
Yeah, I'm in.
There's some fantasy booking going around, like maybe Nakajima's in a short-term run with All Japan right now. He's already the Triple Crown champion, and they've booked him versus Kento Miyahara. Yep, and then
this was on purpose.
If this is where he drops that shit in a month, then he shows up at the Dome and fights Shingo for the never.
Like,
count me the fuck.
I want my rematch from Yokohama Arena last year.
Count me the fuck in.
Yeah, man.
You want me to love some Japanese wrestlers? Oh, I love those guys. It's Sonata, nigga, not Japanese. It's Sonata, nigga. Like, you think we can't tell them apart? Like, what kind of racist you think we are?
Wow.
The fuck? Yeah, I assume Saber's got to defend that thing. What else? Tag belts, World Tag Lead.
This would be the time for him to lose it, wouldn't it? Because he's had it since the beginning.
Bro, you would think like you add him to the list of people that had their belt way too fucking long. Like, bro. Oh man,
when was that? Didn't he defend it against? Wait. When was that? What was the final for that? The tournament final for that,
bro. That was ages ago.
I'm just trying to say, was it? I'm losing
He's
track
had
of the
that
calendar.
shit at least a year.
That's what I'm getting at. Wasn't it before that? Wasn't that settled before the Dome last year?
Yeah. Actually, I think the final was the Dome.
Yeah. There you go. Because he beat Rin. He beat Rin Narita, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's had it for a full year. Yeah.
Yeah. Come up off that shit.
Or about to have a full year. Yeah. Maybe Rin, finishes the story. We add him to the collage.
Speaking of not added to the collage, LA Knight not added to the collage. He loses to Roman Reigns in Arabia, all the way the fuck over there.
Saudi Arabia.
Way the fuck
like when you just say Arabia, makes me be like, yeah, they went over to Agrabah. I'm like, nah, nigga, you can't be doing that. That's a fictional world. Like, what are we doing?
Oh man, I checked the match out and I saw like they kind of kept this thing like it was almost like the most nothing happening kind of match. It was like, okay, they're not like, they largely didn't do the Roman Reigns cinema shit in this match, which I appreciated, but it was just the most standard of basic matches. But even that almost is an improvement from some of the cinema shit. This shit was like light years ahead of SummerSlam, and but it was simple. It was basic. Of course, interference, people coming out there, heads on a swivel, catch a spear, blah blah blah. And they ended it. They kicked them, down the slide like Buddy in A Christmas Story. But I guess that was the peak of LA Knight. And I think it says a lot that the guy was able to get himself to that level. Like, and people believe in him. That's cool. People speculating that maybe he's going to be the person that takes the U.S. title off of Logan Paul. I just don't comprehend, though, if you believe in LA Knight this much, it's just so easy to move on from him. Just leaves me to think that they're all secretly rooting for Roman Reigns in silence, and they're okay with how it's all going. I know you're not shocked by LA Knight, getting
correct. I am not
more
shocked.
Yeah.
The shocking thing would be if he had fucking won the title and and Roman Reigns' reign ended in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's a I don't know. I've seen people talk themselves into thinking LA Knight's going to win the Royal Rumble. I've seen
for what?
This
They
Logan
didn't
Paul
challenge
thing.
Seth?
Yuck. That would be
He's
sick.
not getting a WrestleMania main event. Like,
that would be sick.
He's not getting a night 2 main event. So what he would win the Royal Rumble for the purposes of what?
I don't know, man. I think obviously Cody's probably going to be back in the picture at some point. Seth is running around there with that fake title, but bro, if they did LA Knight and Seth Rollins, I would die laughing. Because bro, if Seth Rollins gotta come up off that shit and drop it to LA Knight, I'll die laughing.
Why you say that?
Because LA Knight's not actually good. I hate to say it. It's a great story. He's late in his career. There's a lot of similarities to Eddie Kingston. And I told one of our friends that is a big LA Knight supporter and does not like Eddie Kingston. And he was just appalled that I would say such a thing. And I'm like, look.
So finish him?
No.
Oh, Caleb. Wow.
Caleb. I haven't hit finish show with it yet, but he'll be
Okay.
fucking blown. Like, he'll be looking at his hands like, I can't believe he said this. Like, he's actually right. Like, but, you know, both of them dudes in the NWA, they both talk in a way that the people in their promotions have gotten behind. Eddie Kingston's light years ahead of him as a wrestler, right?
Yep.
And, you know, the late career break, all that stuff. You know, he has the things that
They're both best friends of John Moxley.
I didn't know that LA Knight was
LA
tight
Knight
with
and John
Mox.
Moxley at when they were back when it was back when NXT was in Tampa. They lived together.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like he you know, LA Knight has the things like, you know, a lot of their fans look for, the catchphrases. He has the body, you know, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Eddie has the promo ability, the wrestling ability, that people were into, like that realness factor or whatever. So I think there's a lot of interesting kind of things like for their audiences. So I don't know, man. I don't know like exactly where, because I just have trouble like figuring out how WWE sees him. Because I know what it looks like or whatever. It looks like they're like, yep, you peaked, you topped out at your popularity here. But I think the people that are watching him, they actually believe in him a lot more, and they think this thing is still going. But from everything that I'm looking at, like, it is not. Like, this was it. This was the peak.
Well, the peak will be when he wins the IC belt or the United States belt or whatever else, like 5 months from now. That's the real peak. When he'll probably win it at WrestleMania, and people will be like, "Yeah, you know, this is the real." You know,
this is what we always wanted.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Like they have him hanging out with John Cena, you know, facing the Usos on SmackDown like every other week or whatever else. But then the whole thing turns into he beats like Gunther shit for the IC belt at WrestleMania, some shit. Whatever.
Oh man. Let's jump over to AEW. Yeah, man. I hated this show. I turned this show off about 90 minutes into it and flipped over to the World Series. This felt like...
You know how bad that show had to be in your mind for you to turn over to baseball that doesn't involve the Red Sox?
Yes.
Was that the clincher game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not that bad then. It's a clinching game. Whatever.
So, and I believe like there was like a no-hitter going or whatever. And then it got broke up in the 7th or something like that. But I was like watching this show and it was like a realization of a lot of things were hitting me. And I was just looking at it and I was like...
Was the realization was that it was a competent Monday night, a competent average Monday Night Raw? Because that's what it was.
No, I thought this was horrible. I thought this was worse than that. Like, I thought this was like, yo, I watched Cassidy and Cassidy only have like this soulless match.
It wasn't a soulless match, Rich. You know what it was? It was like a 20 to 25 minute like match they would have had in WWE if that was Cesaro instead of Claudio. That's what that match was. Think of the pacing of that match, Rich.
Bro, I was bored to death watching that match. I was like, bro, they don't got it tonight. Like they had it in the tag match. I was like, what the fuck is happening? The crowd was dead. Like, it was like a damn mausoleum in there in the building.
Except for like the swing. And then like, you gotta think, they also did like the choke swing, and then they did the part where like it was I like the match more than you, but like I recognize from the pacing of it, they are not trying to have the best match they can. They are trying to have like a match that takes time and is just really good instead of great or awesome.
And then like with the Orange Cassidy stuff, like he's kind of set up for Moxley, but it seems like the belt's all in the wrong like alignment now, because it's like people after that last match want Orange Cassidy to get over the hump to beat Jon Moxley, right? The problem is he's already champion. He has to keep that international belt when people want him to rightfully get his elevation, kind of like, yo, can you challenge for the world title? Can you win the world title? And there's a lot of people
for it in a singles match.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. I meant like because he's already challenged for a rapport against Kenny Omega, but also Pac was in it. So
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't think the match was terrible or anything. It just wasn't, like I thought they had in them.
Yeah, this was not their best match. Easily, it was not. It was like when you look at what they did in that tag match, the week before, and then like the build anticipation for the match they were gonna have, and like you thought they were gonna have a different level of match. Absolutely, yeah.
And I was watching a lot of stuff on this show, and I was like, man, it just feels really tropey. It feels really like things I would have seen elsewhere, and that starts with MJF.
Right, the whole thing of him trying to find friends, he screwed everybody else. Oh, gee, it's almost if I've seen Seth Rollins do this, of being an asshole for years, and then being a good guy, having redemption. Yeah, and then the whole show is like, sight gags of backstage of him trying to find people to get an alliance with because because the match is booked, but he has no mystery he has no partners already announced. He has people that he's reluctant to be friends with. Like, is the Rock and Sock connection of Rock, if he's the Rock and the Acclaimed and Mass Caster, like, Foley, and like they want to be friends so bad, but like the Rock is too cool to be hanging out with that geek. Yeah, we've seen that before. Bro, this was a very WWE show.
Yeah, and this was like the realization of like what this shit has become under MJF, and this is like, I think this is public knowledge now. Everyone's talking about this meeting that happened after AEW Dynamite, and let's just hope that meeting is effective. But everything I watched from MJF on this show, I didn't want to see the culmination of it. Like, I clicked off because I already knew where it was going,
right,
and I knew what it would be in the match. And I was like, no, like, right. I didn't sign up for this. And I think that it's time. Like, it's just time. And then
it ain't time when it's not time if Jay White's the challenger. You have to wait 2 more months to get to the end of the year pay-per-view, man. At best,
man. But it's like this whole thing, like, between and of course I think they showed like Wardlow jacking him up in the hallway. I'm like
scared. Yep.
I'm like, bro, like, what type of world champion is this? Like,
the same type of world champion that like tried to get his belt and then ran away when people were going to fight him when he tried to get his belt away.
This man's like a fucking geek, bro. Like, I don't like, come on, dog. Like,
he's doing everything in his power to get Jay White over. Which means like it's telegraphing it like he's not winning the belt, because when you do that with a challenger, they never win.
Jay White, I saw someone on Twitter say Jay White has done like 7 "I'm not winning the belt" tropes during this whole thing.
He's done quite a few, yeah.
They also had what else did they have? Going
Rich,
up to Darby's door.
Before we go through, because we already talked about the Orange Cassidy and Claudio match. Can we talk about the beginning of the show when they started with before they even went to like the crowd or the match starting, the opening match starting, like MJF backstage with Renee,
recap,
and then they have Adam Cole like on the screen, and it's like a Skype call, and then he walks away, and then in comes like the Kingdom and Roddy, and he yells Adam and everything. He hangs up. It's like, oh, NXT.
Immediately, it was like, I was like, oh, here comes the bullshit. Immediately, I was like, Adam Cole looked terrible.
Well, because he's growing his beard out because he's off camera, and it's like, I get the touch of that. I understand. I like the touch of that. Like it didn't bother me aesthetically. It's like, whatever. It is what it is. He's off.
I was like, show up, look like a star. Roman Reigns wouldn't have shown up like that. Like, and like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I get it. Like, but like Cole just looks like they do this thing and it's like, yo, he's on Skype. I'm like, is this like the only time you guys talk to each other? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
they roll
because
in.
It's WWE now and these people do not talk to each other off camera. Yes.
Then
the answer is yes, Rich.
The whole thing with Roger Strong, and then they rolled him in and yelling at him and all that, and I'm just like, get this shit off my screen, man. The whole thing with Moxley too came in at the end, basically, and started whooping Orange Cassidy's ass. I think the BCC got to pick a side, and it may just be who they're getting booked with, because like week to week, I just don't know what they are, and it may be affecting their crowd reactions. Like some weeks they're fighting good guys, some weeks they're not.
When was the last week they fought bad guys?
I think Danielson was wrestling against Ricky Starks not too long ago.
Oh yeah.
In a couple of tag matches. I believe there was an Andrade match, but I don't know if Andrade's a face or heel.
Andrade's a good guy.
Okay. So I don't know. I think they're just all over the place, and I think if they need to pick a lane. And then like it seems like Moxley is kind of like the heel, kind of like
Moxley's absolutely the heel in this situation. To me, when I was watching it, it was like, okay, Moxley's a heel. He's back to get his belt back. He's pissed off that he lost his belt. And he also cuts a promo about the Phoenix thing, and like he just, almost like Orange Cassidy's a cockroach, and he's weasels his way back into taking his belt, even though he lost it, to an injury or whatever else. Like, and the thing that I thought was interesting was that like Claudio
they cleared the bad guys.
Go ahead.
Oh, go. Yeah, I was gonna say they cleared the bad guys out on Collision. One of the comments said.
Okay, Claudio got snuck by Cassidy on the back, with the pop up got reversed to a Hurricane Rana for the pin. And then like Claudio was like, he was upset that he lost, but he wasn't fuming and he didn't put the beat down on Orange Cassidy. But he sat there on the ropes and as Moxley came in and played the beat down on Orange Cassidy. And then when like Geeks assembled to try to break it up, he fought the Geeks off of Moxley and then let Moxley go back to beating on and pounding on Cassidy, and then eventually he pulled Moxley off of Cassidy. It's almost like this little bastard begrudgingly has my respect, so I'm not going to beat him up like we normally would beat somebody up for this situation. But like, it looks like there's something interesting with that to me. Mm-hmm. It was kind of, maybe since it's WWE that wasn't meant to be anything because that's too subtle. But I don't know. It seemed like something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like Moxie might take it too far in a match, and then like Claudio might stop him from, trying to murder Orange Cassidy. Possibly.
So after that, we got the Mogul MC taking on Hangman Adam Page, a man whose home was busted in by my good buddy Swerve Strickland and the Young Bucks. And they ended up beating them for the ROH 6-man tag team titles. In the middle of this match, Swerve appears.
Yes.
Hangman Page takes off running, chases him to fight him, and we never see him again. Nick Jackson just gets destroyed.
No, we do see them again. They end up going backstage. You see them two fighting backstage, and someone gets laid out, and I don't know if that was a shoot or not.
Yeah. And Nick Jackson gets executed, kind of, and they just pin him. And it's like, oh, I thought they were going to keep going, but nope, they did that. I thought that, like, I don't have a problem with them fighting. Like, I thought the physicality was good and everything with that, but I think Hangman should have been handed a mic this week. I feel like you can't do something as, like, kind of goofy as a home invasion and then not let the person bring it back to reality, like the babyface, like on the other side, like, yo, like you, like, however he wants to address it, be like, yo, you violated whatever, and now you got to pay or whatever, like something like that. But like the lack of handing this man a mic in this and having other people like telling the stories for him, like Alex Abrahantes on Collision and stuff like that, and the fire that AR Fox jumped Swerve and AR Fox wrestled on Collision. AR Fox jumped on Swerve's ass essentially, like while they were cutting, the intro promos on Collision. Fox crashed him, and that's how they began like the match or whatever. Like it was actually pretty unique, and Fox was also wrong by Swerve. But I'm like, yo, they gotta let Hangman like bite into something, because it seems like there's something missing from the entire feud. It's like, why isn't this guy like addressing like what happened to him? Like, why is he just showing up to wrestle and do his job to defend the ROH 6-man titles? Fuck those 6-man titles. Like, what are we doing?
Rich, I don't disagree with anything you said, but there have been times where Hangman has done it this way or not been on front of the camera, not been on the mic and all this kind of stuff, and people keep saying they love him to death and they love the story, and I'm just like, He's not telling the story. You're filling the blanks for him. You're writing the story in your head and making it head canon. At times. Of like why he's inspiring to you. This is one of them right now. He needs to get on the mic and defend himself. Like the contract signing thing, when he does the whole thing, when he basically says, well, the reason why like I haven't been this inspiring or whatever else is because like CM Punk was bullying me. That didn't fly for me. Everyone was like, oh, that's perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, if you say so. So, whatever. Just bring out the match. And, like, I'm frustrated because, like, I need a response to that because of what Swerve did. Swerve is doing something excellent right now. And I need you to respond to match the level to bring this thing to people's, like, forefront. Like, this is a really good thing you guys were doing or probably still are. You can still time to save it. But, like, right now, it just feels like it's a rematch so he can get his win back. And that's it. Yeah.
And like to me it's inexcusable to not hand Heyman the mic. I don't know how
it's a blood feud and no one's talking and he's not talking. The baby doesn't want to talk. What the fuck?
It's like
maybe they're saving it. Maybe they're
like I don't know how
a few weeks away, maybe they're saving it. I don't know.
I don't know how they go back to television and have Heyman appear on television doing something without addressing it. How does it make it out of the format room? How does it make it out of the booking meeting without saying, hey, maybe we should have Heyman Page say something. Hey, maybe we should run up on him, before the match or something like that. Nothing. Like it just take your ass out to the ring, come out to Carry On My Wayward Son, and go out there with the Young Bucks looking like they don't give a fuck. I'm baffled. Like whose decision was this?
I don't know, but what I will say is they want to be WWE so bad. Like I wanted to remind them what happened with AJ Styles after Samoa Joe invaded or ringed on that doorbell. He showed up on and did an interview the very next week on SmackDown. So,
like this is bad. But yeah, the physicality looked great. Like they were backstage, and I still want to see them wrestle, and I think they're gonna obviously have a great match. But they gotta get on the
mics. Hangman has to actually like engage. He has to actually engage with what Swerve has done and talk about what he's going to do to him and all that kind of stuff. He needs to, and talk about how he's crazed or pissed off or angry or whatever. He needs to do that. It needs to happen. Like the actions are fine, right? Like he went in there and immediately went off on him, right? And then, the second he saw him, he ran off because fuck this match. Fuck them belts. It's about what you did, like, touching my son or you touched my son's crib or parent or daughter or child's crib. I don't know if he has a boy or girl. So yeah, like I'm exactly with you, but, yeah.
So Matt Jackson snaps after the match and he looks like Chris Jericho from 1998 where he's hitting the,
ring post with a chair.
Yep.
Flip the table before that too. Yeah.
He was real pissed. So from there, he explains it later. We'll get to it then. MJF's walking around the dressing room again. Comes up to Samoa Joe's dressing room. There was a funny part where he knocked on Kenny Omega's door and Chris Jericho, shirtless, answers the door. And I'm like, what's going on in there? Like,
I didn't even think about that. Oh my god!
Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't.
It was hot. They normally in Canada they expect it to be a lot colder.
They were in Louisville. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it was hot because it was Louisville instead of Canada.
So
they took their shirts off.
He goes by Darby Allin's dressing room and he writes in a Sharpie "emo bitch" on there. He laughs and walks away. Then the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass have a sign. They're saying pick us. They're like just beating us over the head with the subtlety hammer, the WWE subtlety hammer that is going to be the Acclaimed. After that, the one thing on the show I did like was next, and it was Adam Copeland. He come into the ring with Shivani. Excalibur said called him the rated, or they called him the rated PG-13 superstar. Copeland put over Shivani, got a big Tony chant. Said, that was something
nice
that
they didn't tell him to hit the bricks this week.
Yeah, something that hilariously repulsed Taz. Copeland said last week Sting was somebody that he respects massively, got in his face. Darby Allin called him the future AEW. Before Copeland could give his answer to basically saying he was going to be with him at Full Gear, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne came out. Cage said he's going to retire Sting at Full Gear. He ain't going to make it to Revolution, whether he likes it or not. We haven't seen Darby around a lot since Christian dumped him on his arm at Wrestle Dream. Cage then brought up Cope's neck issues, said if Cope accepts the match, he'll snap his neck and leave his kids to wipe the drool from his face. As a former somebody, Cage told Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, go ahead down there and give him a preview. Cope, got the upper hand, and, he was going to hit, Cage, but he hesitated, couldn't do it. This allowed Luchasaurus to give him a clothesline in the back of the neck. Nick Wayne hit his finish, Wayne's World. They were going to do a concerto to Sting, or they were going to do a concerto when Sting made the save, knock Nick Wayne out. Darby went to the ring, beat down Cage, and then eventually Cage turned around and he caught a spear from Copeland. I thought this was all pretty good.
Yeah, I like this. It was, doing it because he knew it was going to happen anyway. So the match on Full Gear, crowd was into it. Like the promo from Edge, like the promo from Christian. Yeah.
So then we got Tony Khan's major announcement.
Let me phrase this. Now, I want to just have a match. I do not want Edge to be out, especially after what they just did. I don't want Edge to be out there hemming and hawing and then have Edge dead or have Christian dead to rights, and then Christian begs, and then Edge looks at the crowd and then has to contemplate it. If he does that, just smoke and move on. I do not want the hemming and hawing and the can I all these years can I give him the concerto or whatever the fuck? No, just beat each other and move on.
You don't want the story, James?
No. Save me. Spare me, please.
I wish they would have spared me from this announcement. So
I think this is what pisses off most people, because people because every time there's an announcement, it's something big, and this is big, but it's also this is unnecessary too.
Yeah,
you could have just posted this shit online on Twitter.
In theory, he could post every one of them online, right? But I saw this and I was like, well then, he was like, cool. Yeah, Nigel was back there with him. I saw Nigel. I was like, what's he doing here? And then he said his big announcement was following the success of All In. They sold, the all-time attendance record, whatever.
He ain't saying no numbers.
Tickets or whatever.
No, fuck that. He even laughed at my joke. He ain't saying no numbers. He ain't saying the single number. I've had enough of this number thing in Wembley. It's the most all time. What the number is, I don't know. It's debatable. It's somehow it's turned into the WrestleMania 3 of this era of debatable number, turnstiles, bought tickets. How many people are actually in the building? It's wild.
I never would have thought we would have got to turnstiles
in the year 2023.
But we should have been able to predict that based on how batshit insane everything had been leading up to that. But they said next year's show will be August 25th. Tickets are going to go on sale 1 month from today, December 1st. You don't have to wait until then. If you want early access, drop the code and, for the sign up. And I'm like, I don't know what, why anyone didn't say, hey, Tone, why don't we just have you come out as a surprise tonight and tell them that? But they're trying to make up for the ratings. I think the previous week, it's a tactic that gets people to tune in, gets people talking all week.
What was the rating this week, or what was the viewership this week?
If I had to, I think 832.28, maybe.
All right.
I'd have to double check.
If that's the case, you better bring his ass out and announce something next week too, or a couple days too.
I will say this though, the reason that they are getting those tickets out, because also WWE announced a show in Germany next year. I believe it's the week after All In, or the week before All In, or something like that, and that will have an effect on tickets. So the sooner they can get those out, I think they're trying to compete, because that shit is going to take a chunk out of whatever. It is, especially from the locals that are out there. But yeah, I saw this and I was like massively disappointed, and I was like, great. Like now everyone will call you a carny. Now everyone will say,
Boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, fuck all the other announcements where you actually announce something big. This one time we'll be like, well, you can't trust a word he says again.
Right.
And then I guess we should talk about Ric Flair now. So last week I came on the show pretty much.
Sake, man.
I was like, yeah, man, it's for Sting, is whatever. Fuck you, don't care. Fuck them, we ball. I was wrong.
And now you gotta back it up.
Yep.
Now you gotta.
Let's go back. Let's pull it back over. All that. So
It's Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones going back in time.
Yeah. So the next day, Ric Flair gets announced as having signed a multi-year deal with AEW. just like Sareee signs a multi-year deal, but it's a 2-year deal with AEW, and it's through his Woo energy drink. Is like a sponsorship thing. So think like Randy Savage and WCW with Slim Jim and all that. And it's like the official drink. They're going to be paying most of his salary and everything like that. But they wrapped this in the Sting thing and slid it right by not only me, but like a good portion of people, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it, I'm like, I just don't know what, like I get what Ric Flair offers you in conjunction to Sting, right?
Yep.
But I don't see the need for Ric Flair beyond that.
I can tell you why. The same reason they sign all the old timers to legend contracts in WWE. They don't make new stars or big stars anymore. So these TV executives and these sponsors, like when they want to sniff around AEW or WWE, you bring around Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair or Lex Luger or Sting or whatever else, and they remember them because they were big stars back when they were selling out stadiums for, in basketball arenas all the goddamn time. So those are the stars. They'd be like, okay, yeah, they'll be around. It's just like this still. And I remember them, and they're still around. So we could do this. Like that's the reason. Meltzer's talked about this for years now. Like they keep them around so that like on call when they need to do some advertising, whatever else for these sponsors or for these networks execs. They can see them and be like, okay, yeah. And you get the feel good moment of like, when I did watch, like, my hero then is here, and I can shake his hand or whatever else and take a photo op and all that kind of stuff, and kind of helps grease the palms when it gets to negotiation when it's time to, do like the, what do you call it, the front ends, or what do you call not front ends.
Up fronts.
Up fronts, yeah. That kind of stuff too. Like, it's all a part of that. It's just, so, whatever, like, he shouldn't be on TV. Should be signed to AEW or WWE. I said it last week. This is like, yeah, you said they did this all to slide this all in, and also you throw the part where like he was going to be signed to AEW before like the Dark Side or anything broke on him last year. Mm-hmm. This is just them getting back to where they were. They let time pass, nothing changed. They let time pass. They let the scandal die down, and now they're here. It's just like what happened with Hogan after the the shit that happened with him being caught on camera with the Gawker, saying all types of racist shit. It's like time passes and now he's back. He's need the block to cool down. That's it.
Yep. Like he must have got word somewhere that was like, yeah, man, this ain't gonna affect nothing. Enough time has passed. Let's get it. Fucking we ball. But I saw that and I was like, I did not feel good about it. I was like,
and how dare they do that and then come out here and give you a show like this too?
Yes, in conjunction with that,
nasty.
With this show where I'm feeling like, yo, this is like the work of like the Creative Pro Academy trying to ruin this promotion, like in on screen and backstage combinations, like, and yeah, like. Up next, we had Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho in the most nothing happening match against 2.0, and they whooped their ass, but that wasn't really the important part. the post match, Jericho and Omega are out there, and Callis comes out basically with all those guys, with Kyle Fletcher in a suit. Also, Will Hobbs, Konosuke Takeshita, all standing in place, not doing a thing, not saying a word, while Callis does commentary. And from there, they basically, say, the Callis family say, you got to give them credit. Jericho and Omega are like cockroaches, hard to get rid of. Takeshita and Hobbs destroy both of you guys. Maybe this doesn't get finished in the ring, but instead on the streets. Callis then challenged Jericho and Omega to a street fight in 2 weeks, calling them dummies. Kenny said none of this is about winning matches and accepts the challenge and makes it a 6-man, saying Kota Ibushi is going to be there on their side. Callis said, you guys are still down a man, so what's up? Jericho brings up his friend who's bigger than Powerhouse Hobbs. Callis is incredulous, says no one's bigger than Hobbs. After that, then they say, well, he's here. And they hit the music. And we heard that new Big Show music that is raw. But man, Big Show walks out in one of the saddest displays I've seen in the history of professional wrestling. His body looked like the letter S.
Now,
Top going one way, bottom going another.
I saw the picture and I was like, oh, okay. I see people declining. And then I saw the show. The reason why I looked at it because his knee brace is fucked up. Like his knee brace makes his leg lean like that. His knee actually isn't actually crooked or whatever else. It's just the knee brace makes it look like that.
Bro, it was horrible. Like, people were doing these screen caps, sending it out, saying, what is this? Like, and then he knocks out Kyle Fletcher, of course. Yep. And it's like, who called for this? And it's like
Jericho.
I'm like,
Jericho is all in on down phase. He said, okay. He's all in on downside. He said, hey, y'all complain all last fucking year when I was putting people over left and right. All right, I got something for your ass. I'm going to fade into nothingness. And then we want to see like how well Ricky Starks does, how well Eddie Kingston does. Oh, they're not doing shit right now while one of them is even a champion? Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't me.
Yeah. But yeah, Paul White, Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Chris Jericho are a team. Even Fire Pro couldn't come up with this shit.
In what fucking world? Oh, and also now they're called the Golden Jets because of Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that.
I didn't know that. But the idea that they're going to put Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi in a match with Paul fucking White, who asked for this ever?
I think it's a complete, like, bastardization of like the Golden Lovers brand. Like, what the fuck is this, dog? Like, I don't
Golden Jericho. What? Why?
Like, we didn't,
who for what?
Like, this is like, what has this feud become?
Like,
in the words of Chris Jericho, what has this become?
Unless Kota Ibushi is going to hit a Phoenix Splash off of Big Show's shoulders, there is no reason for this to exist. That's it, bro. Nothing else.
This shit started with all the promise in the world. I thought this was going to be the best thing of the year, right? Bro, they've had Konosuke Takeshita essentially doing nothing after he beat Kenny Omega on pay-per-view.
Except for beat Fletcher that one time. That's it. And that was on, that wasn't even on Dynamite. That was on like Collision. Rampage. Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry, didn't have time to put, I forgot. Ain't got time to put him on Collision.
Yeah, gotta, gotta have more squashes on there.
Yeah, no competitive matches. Who will see that?
But like the whole thing it's taken so long to evolve or whatever. And at this point, I'm looking at Kenny Omega's booking on paper in 2023 and the non-presentation of him as a star of any sort. And I was like, this shit has been terrorism this year. Like this has been awful.
They have seemingly like poisoned the well on all their top stars so MJF can do this. Jericho's on the down cycle. Kenny Omega has the 2 best matches of the year and is still on a down cycle of nothingness and they also put over MJF. Moxley
and then immediately
Moxley down cycled immediately and started doing the feud with Hangman or whatever else. Put over Hangman. Hangman did nothing with it after getting put over by Jon Moxley. What are the top stars in this promotion doing except for MJF? Anybody do anything important?
Like
I would say Swerve and Hangman, but Hangman doesn't want a fucking promo for some reason.
Yeah, they've got and I think the one thing that really pissed me off, it was like main event of this. Jay White beats MJF clean as a sheet.
Yep. Because they had to give it to him.
Right after MJF gets put over by Kenny Omega, almost stronger than anybody has put him over in the history of the company, almost. And then they turn around and MJF has to lose the next week. I'm like, what do we do it for? What do we do it for?
Look, okay. Putting them together in comparison or whatever else, I get the frustration. But now that we're past that, it's like, all right, now we're on to, we're on, like Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati. Yeah. All right, we're on to Full Gear now. The program with Jay White and MJF, no one believes for a fucking second after Kenny Omega. The whole answer would be never book the Kenny Omega MJF match in this position, put it on fucking Full Gear and kick the Jay White thing down for the December pay-per-view. They didn't do it this way because they wanted to do this match to have it be up against the record. The record, which was like, okay, fine. You want to give away one of the biggest 5 biggest matches you got left in the chamber on pay-per-view to do it on TV? Fine. Have at it. But this is the consequence when you do shit like this. So Kenny Omega puts over MJF, and then days later he is pinned by Jay White because Jay White absolutely needs to pin him because no one believes that he can win the main event title match at pay-per-view. So you have to give Jay White everything because no one fucking believes in him.
Look,
so it looks funny in light, but they had to do this because this is what they set themselves up to do. Because the thing is, that's what they set themselves up to do. They shouldn't have set it up this way, but since they did this is what they had to do.
This is all while Jay White has never been pinned in this promotion. They did the right thing because they did something dumb. This is all while Jay White has never been pinned in this promotion. I would love to know, I don't know, man. It's like they committed to this direction, and maybe it's good they're not ripping everything up and sticking to it. But man, there sure has been some, is it like when you fall down, don't hit the branches on the way? Like they hitting all the fucking branches right now, where it's like, brap, brap, brap.
This is the issue when you book long term, because if someone gets hurt, you're fucked. Or if you're not, it's really hard to recover or try to come up with a satisfying conclusion when you book long term. And you know how I already knew this? Because I watched NXT in 2018 and 19, and what fucking happened?
Well, the nigga breaks his neck.
Right.
And he can't do the payoff.
You build towards the biggest match in your brand's history, and then a month before it happens, whatever else, it goes out the window because the motherfucker has a fucked up neck. So all the building for 2 years you did goes up in smoke, so you have to cook up something else.
Yeah. So at this whole point, this Paul White thing, I was like, yo, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen in this company. And just the reveal, and then the way it was so derivative of it was like, yo, man, I feel like I didn't watch TNA in real time, but man, the vibes was TNA-ish right there. And it was just we're calling back this relic of yesteryear. Bro, these new young guys like Hobbs and Takeshita, these fucking killers, they see this old man and they gotta cower in fear, and and Fletcher just gets knocked out. And it's bro, they should be fucking murdering him. This should be a demolition. Do we expect Paul White to take a pinfall next week? I know I don't.
I mean, he's the one that should take the pinfall.
I feel like Kyle Fletcher is out here about to, lay it down.
Do we have any word back on when Guevara will be back?
I think they booked that match in hopes of maybe he'll be back then, but because I would assume he's the 4th guy on the Calla squad.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, after that, we got Carl Sheeta and Willow Nightingale, and just a nice match.
I like the match.
It was just something that was there.
Wasn't great, but it was better than good.
You know, while they tried to just make the days pass until they can hand the title to Toni Storm, it seems like they're just booking like a rash of title defenses for Sheeta right now.
Yeah, so because it's a short title reign, so they have to rack it up defenses to make it feel like it was actually like not just something they just threw together at the last second.
Yep. So Sheeta got the win.
Yep. They got a better match in them, obviously.
Yeah. After that, Sheeta and Willow Nightingale shook hands, and then Toni Storm made her entrance, and Sheeta, again, tired of seeing this woman come out after her matches, runs out the joint and fucking knees her.
You forgot about Luther.
Oh, yeah. That's her butler.
Yes,
Right.
Luther is now a butler.
Hey, keep getting them checks, homie. So he tried to give Sheeta the shoe.
Nah, we gonna stop right now. At what point do me and you get the on-screen gigs off the strength of Swerve? At what point?
I mean, you know,
do I have to learn how to bump? Is that what it takes?
I guess I could put in a word. You know, I'm like, hey man, it's you know,
like, hey, I can be. Look. I'll bump for Darby Allin. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care if I'm over twice his size. I'll bump for him. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, hey man,
check on clear.
Yeah. Hey, it's, you know, allegedly, you know.
I too would like to be employed. I too would like to get a check from AEW from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be the only person on this show that doesn't get a check from Jacksonville. Should we talk about that?
What's up?
Should we talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah. So Rich sent me a picture of one of his royalty checks from AEW, and I was like, I'm proud of you. Also, I would like one too.
Yo, I pulled up the envelope. You know, I walked to the mailbox, and actually, I didn't even walk to the mailbox. My wife walked to the mailbox. She's like, "Hey, you got something?
You got Catherine walking that hill?"
I mean, she was already up there.
Chivalry is dead. Chivalry. I don't care what your excuse is. Chivalry is dead. You got her walking up that high ass hill. Nah, explain what you do with that hill, Rich. Rich be going up and down that hill to work out. Meanwhile, he got Catherine going up that damn hill.
You know, I walk up the hill backwards, you know, both ways, you know, 15 miles, you know, like the one dude. But, yeah, you know, AEW Who We Are Part 2 will be out soon. That's all I can say. But they got, Sheeta gives the running knee. I thought that shit was hilarious. Like, cause it like broke up all that shit. I was like, yes, do something to her. And the crowd booed. They did not like that. They were like, nah, we want to see this foolishness from Toni Storm. I was like, all right, cool. In the ring, the lights go out. All of a sudden, Giulia Hart appears. Crowd gasps because they love Giulia Hart. Sensing a pattern here. She offers Willow a handshake. Willow knew what was up. Sky Blue ran to the ring, got in the middle of them unnaturally, and you know she looked like she was going to turn on Willow, but then she turns and miss Giulia Hart. But all the it doesn't hit Giulia Hart, and Giulia Hart has to sell it anyway.
No, it hits Giulia Hart. It hits her like on her like chest plate, like
it don't hit her in the face.
Right. But the thing is also, the miss was blue because it's sky blue.
Bro, when I saw this, I immediately turned off the television. I turned the channel after this. I am of no help for the rest of this show, right? The only thing I saw was the clip where Billy Gunn was yelling at MJF, imploring him to scissor Matt Caster because of whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so...
Bro, at this point, I was done. Hold on. I was like, I'm WWE'd out. I'm getting PTSD. I saw this Paul White shit. I think this crowd fucking sucks. I'm pissed about Hangman Page not talking. What else do we have on there? All the tropes, the MJF and walking around the backstage area with the invisible camera and all that shit. And I'm like, what is this? This is not what this has been. Like, this ain't it. Like, and I was like, I'm not having fun. I'm not gonna force myself to sit through it. I was like, I hope the show can understand, but I was quite pissed last week, and I was just like, yo, is this company dying? Like, is this where it goes? Like, yeah, man, are we headed towards the point of no return? Like, it was just like a swelling of, like, in a vacuum.
I think a pay-per-view has to just flat out stink for that to happen first, but we'll see.
Yeah, because that's how it goes. Like, you start just depending on all the pay-per-views to fix everything. It's like, nah, man, this is the greatest week-to-week show in the history of professional wrestling is AEW Dynamite. And it's just like, why are we such in a rush to let that status quo go? Like, why is this just like, yeah, man, we're just going to allow these influences to set the tone of this show? Because I'm pretty sure that from the top, they are conscious of how this show was received, as evidenced by the show that's booked on Wednesday.
Right.
So
this coming Wednesday, because that card
this coming Wednesday
is looted. But Rich, is also needs to be pointed out during every, like, final month getting to a pay-per-view. Seems there's always a bad Dynamite, and we always do what? And I always joke about it. And I was like, hey,
the earth.
It's like, it's the end of promotion.
That one?
It's the end of the promotion, right? And then they go out there and they have a killer show, and they're like, oh, it's saved. And that's a part of this. Like, I think we just forget about it. But, like, almost every Dynamite, you go through Dynamite history, like, right before, like, the last month going into every pay-per-view, like, seemingly, like, there's always one pay-per-view that just, or one show of Dynamite that stinks, or is not like, or is one of those, what the fuck is this? And then later on was like looking around, like, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden, like, the last 2 weeks you end up getting, really good bills, really good, hot shotting of angles to get you interested in the pay-per-view. Like, it just happens that way. It's a bad habit I wish they knock it the fuck off of doing, but it seems like it's a part of the, unfortunately, a part of the equation. Why? I don't know. But, so the main event for this was, The Acclaimed, Billy Gunn, and MJF versus the Guns, Juice Robinson and Jay White. And so they bring out the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed had a really good, Mask had a really good verse, and obviously calling the Guns the ass boys. Out comes MJF. He's wearing pink gear, match with the Acclaimed. He was wearing a scissory shirt because he's back in the act of doing house show matches, wearing a shirt, selling his merch, or selling the Acclaimed's merch. Match starts with Anthony Bowens. MJF tries to get in. Jay White runs out. They end up doing. Colton Gunn calls out his dad. No, I'm sorry. Austin calls out his dad. Austin, by the way, has like body glitter from head to toe for some reason. I'm assuming that's just for heat. And like, if it is, like, I think that's brilliant. I think that's like the coolest thing he's ever done in wrestling. Like, I'm just gonna wear body glitter. Like, because people go, why is he wearing body glitter? Because I'm a heel. Why not? So he calls out his dad. He pretends like he's gonna do the road dog, all the punch and shit, and he gets cut off by his dad. Basically, they lead towards a hot tag on Bowens getting a tag into Caster. They build another hot tag where Caster gets in with Jay White in for in the ring, cutting him off. MJF gets in, he runs wild. Ref is taken, not Caster, but Jay White gets the belt and he's going to hit MJF with the belt. And Caster saves MJF, gets in the way, pushes him out the way, and he eats the belt shot. And then Jay White, a few minutes later, gets the pin on MJF, which leads to You know, like, that's why you saw the clip of Billy Gunn. And also throughout the match, like, they were trying to do the, you know, scissor me thing. And, like, MJF just never wanted no parts of it. And then, like, he tried at the very end of the match, he wanted in, but, like, Gun Club cut off everybody and pulled him out the ring. So, by the end of it, you know, Billy Gunn says, you better scissor Caster. And then they scissor each other or whatever else. And like, that's how they ended the show on a happy note, even though they lost. So, yeah. Run-of-the-mill house show match. But told the story.
You know, all the stuff that you said right there. You know what I didn't hear?
Good wrestling.
I didn't hear good wrestling. I didn't hear focus on the world title. I didn't hear anyone really giving a fuck about getting the belt back, which was supposed to be the objective of this match, I believe, right? None of that. That's all just gone to the wayside. I'm absolutely finished with this MJF shit. Like, it's got to go. Like, get in the bin. Like, and I know there are people that like it. There are people that are going to defend it. There are people that are like, yeah, what's the big deal? You know, like, you know, have some, you know, smile about it, whatever, you know. And there's the whole
let people enjoy things.
Yeah, the let people enjoy things. The, you know,
like, I am letting people enjoy the things. Like, I let people enjoy WWE. I don't watch it.
Like, well, how about they let me enjoy some of this shit? How about that? You know, y'all ever thought about that? Let me enjoy a new champion. You know, let me enjoy, you know, some compelling, you know, feuds or around the world title, you know, filled with hatred, filled with competitiveness, filled with, like, you know, guys striving to be the best. You know, let me enjoy that. You know, not a geek getting thrown up against the wall, going from door to door like a telemarketer or a Jehovah's Witness, you know, looking for some type of help. You know, not a guy that is not really drawing all that much. You know, they showed the little quarter hours and stuff like that, and he has the highest quarter hours. And I'm like, man, I hope you have the highest quarter hours when you're being like, when everyone else is being pushed down like this for you to shine this hard. Like, and it, like, that's what I'm saying. You can make a change right now. Anybody you put in that spot will end up with the highest quarter hours and all that shit.
Well, I don't know.
Like,
I think you have to, like, get somebody out of being downcycled to actually rise up for that. And the only people that we really have are like Jay White and Swerve right now.
Man. They've got Wardlow jacking them up against the wall.
Yep.
They've got Samoa Joe circling.
Yep.
Jay White at the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
The Hangman Swerve feud.
Yep.
Feels like Hangman's going to get his win back. So I don't know where that leaves Swerve. But there's a lot of people that can put it on. And I'm ready for pick someone. Like, and I don't, you know, it would be hard for me to, like, look around the roster and feel like there is a worse decision at this point. I'm like, I can live with Jay White. I can live with Wardlow. I like Wardlow. Definitely I would go with Swerve. Samoa Joe, I wouldn't be into that as much, but, you know, I feel like it would be a short-term title run anyway. I'm like, just end this shit. Like, we'll figure all that out later. Just end what this is now.
Whatever this was supposed to be is obviously different from what it was, because obviously the Adam Cole injury changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to see Cole win it either. So let's, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I think, you know, it's interesting though, like how MJF gets all the credit for the good stuff in the company and all that. But I'm like, all right, man, like, it's a lot, you know, it's a lot of stuff. I think, you know, the responsibility of being the champion, you got to wear it in the good times and the bad times. And with the people in these buildings that are reacting to his matches or whatever, right? Like, they are, like, you know, like, in that, I didn't hear you say the crowd was dead or anything.
No, the crowd was reacting to it like they're in Louisville, Kentucky, and like they went nuts when he did the kangaroo kick.
I'm like, that's great. 4,000 people, all 4,000 of them in a 20,000 seat building, reacting. That's awesome. You're over with those people. What about the people that ain't there? Like, if you're the champion, you're the big star and all that, right? And if everybody is bowing down before you, like the West Side Connection, admittedly, not everybody's put you over the cleanest in the world, right?
But that's how he wants it. He doesn't want to be people over clean. He doesn't want to put people over clean. This is the game he's played since day one in AEW, and I've been complaining about it to y'all for years on this show. If you want to play like this is the shit you end up with at times.
We can take this, all the people that put him over before the championship. He's unfused with Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho,
CM Punk,
John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, Ricky Starks, Darby.
You mentioned Wardlow?
Wardlow. I know he beat MJF, but like ultimately MJF just zapped that shit anyway. So like
he did a squat. He no showed some meeting, whatever else, got heat, and then did a job, left for months, and came back, and like nothing ever fucking happened. It's a fake job.
Yeah, MJF did a lot
and it absolutely hurt Wardlow.
And he did a lot of great work in that stuff, right? But if you're the man right now, and you're gonna say you're the man like that, then I want to see these metrics that look like you're the man. James, do you realize this man is going to hold the AEW world title for a year straight, and he doesn't have a prayer in hell at winning Flair Thez in AEW?
Yeah,
if that's not an indictment, then what do you call that? Like, I would vote for Cody before I voted for MJF. I would vote for Will Ospreay is Flair Thez before I would vote for MJF.
Well, yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't... it's a lot, man. I'm like, yo.
I think the more I think about this, like, Ospreay is going to end up winning Flair Thez, and people will be furious.
Like, they better live with it. Like, his wrestling is much better than anybody else's other shit.
And it's going to be like, all right, what was the best rivalry this year in pro wrestling? Ospreay Omega? Okay. Who was the most outstanding wrestler in the ring this year? Ospreay again? Okay.
They're going to have to get ready. Cause like,
did anybody from any other promotion, even though he was secondary champion, did anybody from any other promotion like shine as a top champion in any of the promotions? Did Giulia or Tam Nakano do that? No. Did Sanada do that? No. Did Roman Reigns in part-time duty do that?
7 matches, James.
Yeah. Did MJF do that? He had some great matches, but like, did as this thing is going down, like, are we gonna blame all this on CM Punk? Everything CM Punk's fault? None of it's MJF and his TV, and none of it's like Tony Khan booking all of his top stars to down cycle except for MJF? No. Okay. Give it to Ospreay. Ospreay's out here doing this in multiple promotions again. Oh, okay. He probably should win for Thez. Probably should. And the sad thing is, like, if Moxley doesn't get concussed, I thought he was gonna steal it anyway. I thought Moxley was gonna steal it, get out the back door. Similar to how we talked about 2000. What years was it when AJ Ferrara War stole AEW or WWE Wrestler of the Year from Strowman? What year was that? 2017?
2017.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be one of those. But he got concussed and he's out the race.
Yeah.
Danielson, if Danielson could just fucking stay together, he would have won it because of how well his matches were every time he wrestled. He's a most outstanding contender in the top, like, top 5, top 8 or whatever else, given the number of times he's been injured still. But he's always fucking injured. So he can't, like, sink his teeth into much stuff. He keeps fucking missing out on blood and guts. So yeah, that's the year. That's been the year.
Yeah. So I just think people, like, I know they love MJF, right? But if you love that man, tell the truth about him. Like, if you love him and you think he's the only good thing in AEW, then explain them fucking ticket sales. Explain these fucking buildings. Like, sorry, man. That falls on the champion.
Like, it's one thing to be the champion, it's another thing to be the man, and like, they booked him like he was the man instead of just a champion, and it doesn't seem to have worked for the betterment of like watching for 2 hours or for watching for 5 hours. This doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, man.
Like, and I see all the stuff they've done. I'm just like, I see what you're doing. Like, you're trying to revitalize Adam Cole. You're trying to get the other pillars hot when they were ice cold, except for Darby. It worked to an extent with Guevara, and then Guevara fucking got concussed again. Or not concussed again, but got concussed very badly, and he hasn't been around. You know, he put him in there with the two of the best wrestlers ever, with with Omega and with Danielson. Matches went off. You know, the Omega bill was just out of nowhere, out the blue, just put it together. The Danielson thing was a lot of trying to figure out what the actual story was until they finally got to it. Until they finally figured out what the actual heart of the story could really be. What do you do at Revolution this year?
Danielson.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So that's what we were talking about. So yeah, it's been
Zach says, is MJF the Diesel of championship drawing ability?
Nah.
I don't know if I can go that far. I don't think there's been enough history with the title to. I think he's the lowest drawing champion thus far, but that's not. I think
based
that's
on attendance.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know because like the Wembley thing is gonna like skew everything the same way people talk about Noah and Muta this year.
I feel like
people are like no, Noah's number 2 promotion in Japan right now. Okay. How about like we throw everybody's biggest show out? I know it's unfair, but like how about we go like median show? No, right, it's not even close. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. When I hear this superstar stuff, and I just want to see the superstar stuff that backs it up. Sorry. Call me old fashioned, but it's a we gonna see how this all ends up. You know, we got 2 pay-per-views left in the year, but if he gets to 2024 with that shit, I'll be shocked. But here we go.
Look, man, you know what happens when you commit to long form storytelling. When someone gets hurt, you just want to hold on until you can do it again. So, like, if he just like. The idea would not shock me at all if he holds on and to finally get to, you know, the devil was Adam Cole all along. Because they did the devil thing too during the show.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice it when I was watching the show.
Whatever.
I was like, oh, they did it again?
Yeah.
But, bro, like.
So how long did the Black Scorpion shit go?
I think the Black Scorpion stuff was months and months and months of like actually kind of detailed things.
Can we get MJF versus the Devil in a cage match, and then we put Jim Ross on commentary so that when they rip off Adam Cole's the shit in this Adam Cole, he can be like, "It's Adam Cole, son of a bitch." Of course, it's exactly who we fucking thought it was. God damn it.
They have Ric Flair assigned to the company. Just put it on Flair.
Oh my god.
It's Ric Flair, son of a bitch. We can wrap this whole up.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. That's the end of the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using. Listen this with. If you are watching from the stream, you can later go to the podcast show notes and go to the red circle link there and donate. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides Wrestle Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style. You have All Things Elite, and you have Imp's WWE Adventure. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Stop getting scammed by Lauryn Hill.